Thank you very much for having me here today. It's a glorious day. Last week we had snow, and what we have this week? We had the beautiful sunshine, and I know we're going into some nice spring weather, but it is really kind of nice. And I know bicyclists are really hardy people. You go out, you know, rain, snow, whatever, right? And we had the Amgen bike tour in Sacramento, I guess about a month ago. It was pouring rain. But the cyclists were out there, I have to admit it, you're hardy folk. But I think that's what's going to keep us going, and that's what's going to make sure that cyclists are always included as a form of transportation. So at any rate, I want to thank Andy very much for that kind introduction and for your leadership. Thank you very much. And I'm so pleased that you heard from the Transportation Secretary, Ray LaHood, who's a former colleague of ours. And I ran into Earl Blumenauer in the elevator, and Earl really does do it all, doesn't he? I mean, the helmet and the whole deal. He's putting us to shame. But at any rate, he has always been quite the wonderful person on the Hill, always promoting cycling, so it's really fabulous. And Dan Lipinski, who is really the transportation, he's going to be the transportation guru on the T&I committee. We sat together when I was on the T&I committee, and I had a difficult time leaving the T&I committee, but I have Chairman Obastar's promised that I am still kind of an affiliate member of the T&I committee. If you think about Sacramento, where I'm from, we've got everything. We got the bike trails, we got transit, we got the rivers, so all of those things that I need from T&I, and so therefore I'm considered an affiliate member for obvious reasons. Sacramento is really a wonderful place to live and work and play. We've got bike-friendly streets. We also have a long, beautiful bike trail along the beautiful American River. If any of you have been there, it's just absolutely fabulous. You guys can clap. It's a great thing to clap for. And we have several colleges and universities there. Sacramento State University, UC Davis Med Center. UC Davis is just right outside of my district. Several community colleges. And, you know, we have a lot of students who like to bike. And each time I visit these campuses, I'm encouraged to see the future generations of bicyclists. But it's not just on campus that the number of bike riders is growing. It's all over Sacramento, and you see it all over this country now. You see it here in Washington, D.C. It's absolutely wonderful. I live next to a bike jogging trail here when I live in Washington, and it's absolutely fabulous. I cannot believe the number of people who are on it. Everybody, whether you're in Sacramento, Portland, St. Louis, Chicago, more and more people every day are looking for alternatives to driving the car. They want a clean and efficient way to get around, and they're turning to bikes as an option. At home in Sacramento, I'm constantly looking for new ways to encourage residents to travel by bike. And that is what this summit is all about, working together to ensure that we have safe streets and better access for all people who want to use our transportation system. That includes bicyclists, pedestrians, transit riders, and motorists. When I wrote the Clean Streets Act, I kept everyone in mind. That was really very important, I believe. I approached the drafting process and with this one principle in mind, that our transportation system should really work for all Americans and not be focused solely on cars. The legislation that I will introduce next week helps make this vision a national policy by increasing our options for travel. It recognizes that choice is an essential part of making our country great. Choice should be an essential part of our transportation system. By diversifying our roadways, we can provide real alternatives to travel by car. The Safe and Complete Streets Act requires complete streets policies at the state and MPO level, but it does not try to establish a one-size-fits-all policy. You know, we're all Americans. and we like to have different things, and we want to have diversity in everything we do. Instead, what it does, it accounts for variations from one locale to the next by requiring complete streets projects to fit within a local community context. Every neighborhood in this country is unique. We all know that. We love our neighborhoods. And our Complete Streets policy recognizes this. It builds off the existing infrastructure to reinvigorate corridors that are dominated by cars, by congestion, and by pollution. We can and we should transform these areas that are really nothing more than highways superimposed on surface streets. That is what the Complete Streets Act will accomplish. The strength of this legislation is that it recognizes that we face very real challenges today, many of which are interwoven. Our outdated transportation system fosters reliance on cars, which creates congestion. Congestion lowers the efficiency of our vehicles and worsens our air pollution. As a result, many people get sick with diseases like asthma. Negative health effects are worsened by our societal habits. We are conditioned to sit in our cars and wait for traffic to move. And I always see the bicyclists go right by me, too. And we've grown more reliant on the automobile, and we've also gotten more sedentary. And our obesity rates have gone through the roof. Now, we talk about an epidemic of obesity, and the way we design our communities is partly to blame. Air pollution also correlates with increased global warming emissions. In the Energy and Commerce Committee, in which I now serve, we hear every day about the threat posed to our planet by greenhouse gases. The more that people get out of their cars and ride their bikes, the less greenhouse gas they emit. The Urban Land Institute has estimated that carbon emissions from transportation will be 41% above today's levels in 2030 if driving is not curbed. The urgency of this problem and of all these problems is very real. We cannot afford to wait to diversify our transportation system next year or next Congress or during the next administration. We must do it now. The longer we delay, the more people will die of lung disease, the more our planet will suffer, and the more we'll put our very way of life at risk. But by opening up our roadways to pedestrians and bicycles, we can help ease the congestion on our nation's roads. In doing so, we will make progress fighting air pollution and global warming. The good news is this. States and cities across the country are discovering that completing their streets means safer communities that invite walking and bicycling. Here is the better news. We are finally in a position to make our Complete Streets vision a reality. We just simply cannot afford them any longer. We cannot afford more asthma, more congestion, and more climate change. We all recognize the importance of making the best investment possible with our precious federal transportation dollars. And with Complete Streets, we can make a federal investment in local communities that will help to ensure the future of the cyclist community. It really is an exciting time to be in Washington with a new Congress and a new administration. I believe we have a real opportunity right now for transformational energy and transportation policy. Together, we can create safer streets, cleaner air, and make a real difference in the lives of our children and our grandchildren. I want to thank you very much for having me here today and for your commitment to public safety and a cleaner environment. Believe me, you are making an impact. All of us are making an impact. If you walk around here, cycle around here, The number of bikes is just amazing. We're going to transform this country, and we're going to do it together. Thank you so very much.
Would you stay with me for just 1 second? You will know, those of you who are Summit veterans, that each year we give some Congressional Leadership Awards in recognition of members of Congress who've gone above and beyond and shown great leadership in advancing our cause. And because of your support for the Complete Streets legislation and for your introduction of it very soon, we want to present you with the 2009 National Bike Summit National Bicycle Leadership Award. Please know that the 550 or so people who are here today will be your biggest champions and advocates to find co-sponsors, to get support for your legislation. And we really do appreciate your leadership and your participation here today. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.